My name's Laurie Thorlakson, and I am a political science professor at the University of Alberta. Well, how can we meet our emissions goals in Canada and in Alberta? I think we've got a range of options, and I think the best path for us is to continue to try to reduce our emissions where possible, and also where there are feasible alternatives. And so if we were to look at Canada's plan for getting to net zero by 2050, what you'll notice is that many of the planned reductions in emissions come from two areas where we know that we have alternatives. And so these are in the oil and gas sector, which is our largest greenhouse gas emitting sector, as well as transportation. So we can pivot away from fossil fuels and use alternatives, and we can electrify in transportation and also use hydrogen options. And together, these allow for significant reductions in greenhouse gas emissions. We also see some planned reductions in the housing sector where our buildings, our residential buildings are a pretty significant source of greenhouse gas emissions. And so we have gains that we can make through better construction methods, through more energy efficiency, and also decisions that we make through city planning that affect the way that we live, the density, and as well as our transportation needs in our daily life. Now, by comparison, there are some areas where it's going to be quite difficult to extract further greenhouse gas emission reductions. So for example, if we were to look at Canada's 2050 plan, we'll notice that greenhouse gas emissions from agriculture remain fairly stable. It's hard to make additional gains at our existing levels of technology. However, we still are on course on this plan for a greenhouse gas reduction because we can take advantage of other technologies that might, for example, scrub CO2 from the air capture, or by changes in land use that can create carbon sinks that can lead to gains. And so together with a combination of these gains and reducing where it's technologically feasible, we have a credible pathway as long as our political commitment remains intact.